Good day, fellow investors. Welcome to Arabian Property Pulse, your weekly podcast dedicated to the real estate market in the Middle East. Fueled by coffee and powered by our sponsor, Nelson Park Property, I'm your host, Jeffrey Asselstine.
Great to be with you all again. As this is going to be our last podcast of 2024, I thought I'd hit a topic that's really on everyone's minds, or most people's minds, especially in the business world. At the end of the year, as we look towards the new year, is looking at goal setting. One of my main goals I've had on my list, on my to-do list or goal setting list for about 5 years was to actually set up a podcast. So the fact that you're listening to this means I've hit that goal. Though it took me many more years than I expected to hit, I'm really proud of the fact that the podcast is now up and running. It's starting to get traction, and we hope to do some serious growth as the year continues. I mentioned in the very first episode that I've been a keen listener to the podcast myself, listening to podcasts really almost for 20 years now, starting at sports podcasts and different business podcasts and all manners that I've been listening to, and still a very avid listener to all types of podcasts. So it's with great joy that I was able to launch mine this year. And again, I look forward to making that happen more and more in 2025 and also getting a lot better at it. If I look at the skills I've learned in the first 4 or 5 episodes, it's been great, and I need to learn a lot more clearly. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us as we do this, and we look forward to getting better as the year goes on. So why am I looking at goal setting? Well, every year in January, I do 2 sessions with my team here in Qatar on goal setting. Well, actually, I don't do it on goal setting at all. We actually do it on goal achieving. Most people know how to set a goal or have some kind of idea. Not everyone does, but most people have some type of idea. But so the whole session is all about goal achieving. But I want to do a session today with you, just give you some quick ideas about looking at your goal setting and then really on goal achieving as you move towards 2025. So I wanted to start off with a few of my favorite quotes as we're looking at goal setting. And I keep saying goal setting. A lot of people refer to them as New Year's resolutions. And one thing I always like to remind people, the number one thing that stops people from hitting their New Year's resolutions or their annual goals is to start. The vast majority of people don't even start to head towards their New Year's resolution and things they want to do. So that's the first thing to do is really get in your mind you're actually going to start is quite a key thing. But I'm going to quote Dan Sullivan, and some of you will know that I'm in a fantastic program called Strategic Coach. I've been involved the last 4 years. I had to take a bit of a break this year, but I'm looking forward to joining back in March of 2025 on into Strategic Coach. And Dan is the founder, along with his partner Babs, has put this program together. And one of Dan's quotes that I got from him was, "All progress begins with telling the truth." And so when you're looking at your goal setting, looking at what you want to achieve, you need to be really honest with yourself. I'm going to cover something off at the end of this about being honest with yourself and the reason we set the goals that we do. So when you look at what you've done in the past, what you're looking forward to doing in the future, always be honest with yourself. And that's how all progress begins, by telling yourself, the realities of that. One little lesson I'd like to add on that I know I've suffered from in the past is sometimes when we're starting to set goals for the new year and we look back at the previous year, we kind of highlight all the things we didn't do. Oh, I wanted to lose 10 kilos, I lost 8. Losing 8 is a really excellent result. Maybe didn't quite hit the goal, but losing 8 when your target was 10, that's very good. Don't be afraid to start with gratitude. Look at all the things that you did throughout the year, not just what you didn't do. Start with gratitude in everything you do. In Nelson Park Property, any meeting I hold, we start with a positive focus, which is a 1-minute view where everybody just says this is something from the previous week that gave them confidence. Set your mindset right. When you're looking at sitting down and setting your goals for next year, get your mindset in the right place so you can have a better chance of success. And I'll take this next quote is from Tom Ziglar, the son of the infamous Zig Ziglar, the great sales trainer. And in fact, I got this from one of Tom's podcasts many years ago. And it's one of the simplest things to hear, not so simple thing to do. But when people are saying, how do I change? What do I do? How am I going to make things better? Here's a simple quote. The fastest way to success is to replace your bad habits with good habits. Really simple, but sometimes we often miss the simple things, and it's often the simple things that really help us get going. Again, so we talked about the beginning, most people don't hit their New Year's resolutions, don't hit their targets because they don't even start. So that's one thing you want to be thinking about. And if you actually have written goals, if you have written resolutions and a plan for achieving them, you put yourself in the top 3% of people in the world. In other words, only about 3% of people in the world have written targets, have a goal, and have a plan to achieve it. And that's something you really want to be proud of yourself. You can actually be able to do that. You're separating yourself from competition. You're separating yourself from others by having something that's very different than what other people have going on. So what I'd like to leave you with today is just 5 quick bullet points from Darren Hardy. So Darren Hardy wrote a great book called The Compound Effect and a follow-up book called The Best Year Ever, helping you to achieve your goals, where I get a lot of my thinking from and goal achievement. And so huge credit to Darren Hardy for all the work that he does. And again, I listen to his daily podcast as well. Great podcast. I recommend you have a look at. Just search under Darren Hardy's name, come up with his podcast. So he has five reasons why people don't achieve their goals. And I think it's important to say these because, again, if I go back to Dan Sullivan's quote, all progress begins with telling the truth. We're going to tell the truth. Where do people normally mess up? What stops them from achieving the goals they want to hit? So these are just 5 I'm going to share with you. And for a lot of people, number one, you just have a wish list. So it's a wish list. It's a thought. It's an idea. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if I was better? If I was a better real estate agent, if I was fitter, if I was stronger, if I ate better. Just a wish list. Nothing clear, nothing planned out. You just have a wish list, you don't stand a chance. And kind of following on that, the second point is your goals are clear as mud, a phrase we use often back home. So to state the obvious, clear as mud, not clear at all. So again, a phrase like, I want to be a better agent. I want to read more. You go back, I'm sure most of you would have heard the phrase of having smart goals. All your goals have to be smart. If you remember the acronym with the S, goal has to be specific. M, it has to be measurable. A, attainable. R, relevant. And T, time-phased. So goal like, I want to lose 10 kilos by the 31st of December 2025. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant to my lifestyle, and it's time-phased. Saying I want to be fitter, that's none of those things. So you always want to make sure you have good, clear, smart goals whenever you set them. Number 3, all talk, right? Again, very unclear. Nothing's defined. Nothing's mapped out. It might be, I want to lose 10 pounds or 10 kilos by the end of the year. Okay, that is clear. But what's my plan to do it? Okay. Last 2 points, no command and control. Because you're not measuring your goals, because you're not writing them down, you need to track them. Darren Hardy goes on in his Best Year Ever guide about tracking your goals, tracking your targets. If you're looking to spend less money, write down everything you spend money on. It'll instantly highlight where your money is going. If you feel like you keep putting on weight or you're not able to lose weight at all, have a food journal. Write down everything you eat, and you'll soon see. Just before I started the podcast, the little snack I just had, hopefully not too many calories, just to give myself a little bit of energy. But it's those snacking things that can often get us when we're looking to achieve certain goals around weight. And the last one is a lack of reinforcements. So when people will often fail in their goal setting, they don't have reinforcements, right? They don't have they're not accountable to anybody, or they're not sharing their goals with somebody, and maybe the people around them don't support their goals. So again, if your goal is to go to the gym X number of times a week, or read a certain number of books, or attend a lot of seminars, whatever those types of goals would be, which might be, again, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-phased. But if the team around you, if the people around you don't support you in your goal, you're going to struggle. So you want to make sure that people around you support that, people around you agree with what you're looking to do, and give you the support to help you achieve it. It can be really important. So one of the things I'm looking to do is myself, again, this isn't specific because I haven't come out the goal out yet, but as part of my weight loss goal that I'm going to have for 2025, I want to be exercising my dogs more. I'm going out with my dogs, spending some time with them. They're going to be part of my support network. They're going to help me with that. They'll love it. And they'll never say no to me taking them out for a walk. So they'll be part of my accountability team as well, because they'll be at me every day to take them out. So the last thing I want to add on is we often talk about people when they set their goals, they write them down, they have a whole plan, they have everything laid out, doing all the right things. Their goals are smart goals, all that's great. But where they failed is they're more worried about the how as opposed to the why. And I'll spend just a couple of minutes on that. The why of your goal is far more important than the how. In other words, why do you have this goal? Why do you want to achieve it? And specifically, you might be in your day-to-day job that you might have targets that you're given. And so the why is, well, that's what the boss said. That's what the company needs. That's what we're doing. Now, hopefully your boss or your colleagues, whoever's helped you set the goals, would have explained why it's important. Then you have a much better chance of success. You actually understand the why behind the goal. When you get down to your real personal ones, the one that you are setting for yourself, make sure you know the why. In Darren Hardy's book, he often talks about, somebody that, let's say they're smoking. And why don't they quit? Well, because the why to quit isn't strong enough. In other words, if you have a cigarette, nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to die of cancer. You're not going to start coughing. You're not going to start choking. It'll have infinitely small effect on your health. So you keep doing it. And it's not about that one cigarette. It's about the combination of all of them over the years that really harm you. Right? And so why do people keep smoking? They know, well, that's not good for them because the why to change isn't strong enough. I'm sure you know people that gave up a bad habit, whatever that might have been, because their why to change was strong enough. I've been vegetarian now about 8 years. We did it as a bit of a challenge within the family. My oldest daughter was a vegetarian, had already been vegetarian for about 8 or 9 months. My middle daughter gave me the challenge, gave the whole family the challenge of saying, let's see if you go vegetarian, in support from the oldest daughter. And so instantly changed overnight. Why? I just felt I wanted to change. I've eaten a lot of red meat in my life. I thought I'll just change and make it happen. And I switched overnight. And it's been 8 years. Now, for me, that why was really strong. And the last thing, just about the why, you want to make sure that the goals are yours. Again, you'll get goals assigned to you at work. That's fine. You get targets assigned. You want to follow through those, help you believe in the mission and integrity of your company and what they're doing. You believe in what we're doing to help you reach your goals. And that's one thing. But when it comes to your own personal goals, make sure they're your goals. They need to be yours. If they're not yours, you're going to fail. In other words, they're not your parents' goals, right? They're not your friends' goals. They're not what, quote unquote, society's told you your goals should be. These are the goals that you want them to be. When you set your own goals and goals that you believe in, you give yourself a much better chance for success. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Wish you all the very best, and we'll speak to you again in 2025. Take care.
Hopefully that gave you something to think about. Enjoy your week, and if you need assistance with any of your real estate needs, get in touch with Nelson Park Property at nelsonparkproperty.com.